Well, good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, July 15th, and it's my privilege to come back with you, and we're going to look at the book of Nehemiah today, chapter 5. Just a quick review. Remember, Nehemiah is a Jewish official for the Persian king. That's amazing. And there was bad news from Jerusalem, and Nehemiah prays and prays and prays about it, and it turns out that God wants him to lead a team to rebuild the wall in Jerusalem. And so he goes with the king's blessing, and of course opposition comes. That's the way leadership always works, isn't it? You plan for the worst and hope for the best. And first there was external opposition, and it was because there were those countries around Jerusalem that kind of liked having a weak Jerusalem. And every time Nehemiah and his team makes progress, he's met with opposition, but he learns perseverance through this. And so in chapter 5 today, it's not external opposition, but internal conflict that we're reading about. And this can be even more devastating. I think internal conflicts destroy more families and even more churches than external ones. And in this case, it's the poor of Jerusalem who are helping to build, but who are in need because there's this famine going on. And as always happens, when something like that happens, it affects those with less resources more. And it seems that not only is there a famine, but it's the rich and powerful in Jerusalem who are using these extreme times to exploit the poor and to repossess their land and charge them inordinate interest. And Nehemiah was a leader, and every project needs solid leadership, and he needs the support of everyone. And so to accomplish this project, he needs to find a way to get everybody working together as a team. Plus, he needs to risk correcting these nobles and officials, but at the same time keeping their support. This is an amazing study in leadership, this chapter, and God is leading Nehemiah, and Nehemiah is certainly leading the people, and God gives him the courage and the conviction to go after this internal challenge before it gets worse and harpoons the whole project. Let's read from beginning in verse 7. Nehemiah says, "After thinking it over, I spoke out against these nobles and officials, and I told them, 'You are hurting your own relatives by charging interest when they borrow money.' Then I called a public meeting to deal with the problem." And then going ahead to verse 9, it says, "Then I pressed further, 'What you are doing is not right.'" Think about it. He goes and he calls them a little bit later after this passage to consider the big picture. He tells them, you know what? What you're doing is just not about building a wall. This is about building a strong community of God. That means that those of us who have resources, we need to develop a heart for those who have lesser resources. And God is building this community where the community coming together is most important. And amazingly, they got the big picture. And in fact, the nobles came back in verse 12 of Nehemiah chapter 5, and we read these verses. It says that we will give back everything and demand nothing more from the people. Think about that. Leadership is not for the faint of heart, is it? On the other hand, when conflict comes, and you know that it will, we're called to listen to God's voice and to follow it, and then to step out with courage to really be a leader. Remember, He'll give you the direction, He'll give you the words you need to work through the internal as well as the external challenges. So now, go out today and lead with courage. Have a great day.